The concept of plaque arrest or regression is not something new. Possibly it began sometime in 1900s. But then excitement for the cardiologist came sometime in 2003 when the Alpha Milano and the saga told us that we can have significant atheroma volume regression. And there came into Time magazine saying that this is Drano for the heart, the magic potion for the heart, and no more heart attack if you take Alpha Milano. But again, we realized the fact that by 2016, we realized this was just a magic bullet and there was no substance in it. And it is always, Alpha Milano was trying to project HDL, but we knew in our heart that it is LDL which matters, and every trial, every evidences, every guidances was telling us the importance of LDL reduction to abrogate coronary artery disease. That's why now the targets of the LDL has been consistently reducing over the years, and every guidelines was telling us. So much so that you have somebody from our own country, LAI, I don't know what is the evidence for that, their impression, but then saying that you should bring it down to in extreme cases of atherosclerotic vascular disease, something like LDL less than 30. We know the lowest is better. Over the years, we have every evidence, even though you should realize the fact that if you look at the CARE trial, after the CARE trial, people believe that reducing LDL below 125 may not give us an impressive outcome. But then that was disproven by the later trials. And now, at least the ESC, if you follow the ESC guidelines, says that we have to bring down the LDL level less than 50 or what. If you look at the LDL and the mechanism of plaque formation, I have no idea, no intention to take you to our physiopathological classes, but then this was something which was known. The LDL was fundamentally there in plaque formation, plaque progression. And if you look at the anatomy of a normal vessel and compare it to an atheromatous artery, this is again something we were aware of. The tools to study the coronary plaques was something possibly evolving, and we have now very many tools. Invasive tools, non-invasive tools. And over the years, what we have seen is that there is definite arrest of the plaque progression. There is again a resolution of regression of it. The earlier imaging trials, look at the Camelot or the reversal, or the reversal was something which gave us. I should say that it was Steve Nissen and his group of persons who was fundamentally telling us that plaque regression is an eminently possible thing. And he was the one who has been pursuing this regression business for all these years. The initial trial were something which we were not very sure. What is the LDL level at which the regression begins? But later, with the new imaging tools, especially with the publication of the asteroid trial, again by Steve Nissen and his group, where the LDL came down to 56 milligram for the first time. Asteroid was something like 38. It was improved, it was the 56, I'm sorry. So asteroid was the first data, imaging data, which showed us that plaque regression is eminently possible. And at what level of the LDL the plaques start to regress? Here is the data. The data shows that at 60 milligrams of LDL, the plaque definitely shows to regress. That was again the Nichols group. Nichols was the key man who was working along with Steve Nissen. And that was the time when the asteroid showed us that if you bring down the LDL level to less than 60 milligram, we have evidences to show a decreasing atheroma volume, plaque volume, total atheroma volume. And these were the clinical data. The data started from the IMPROVE-IT, which again boosted up acetamide's role. The IMPROVE-IT showed again a 56 milligrams of LDL. GLAGO, I will detail GLAGO a little bit. And of course, the hygiene study with the PCSK9 brought the LDL level to mid-20s. So we have every evidences, clinical imaging evidences of saying that when we reduce the LDL level substantially low, we can have a plaque regression. This was the GLAGO, which again was one of the important data which showed that. Now, this was the baseline data. If you look at the baseline, LDL was 92. There was something like a 62% reduction of LDL, bringing down into something like LDL of 30s in the GLAGO trial. And that showed a considerable reduction of plaque regression with evolocumab in the plaque atheromatous volume was considerably reduced. We have again, this data was presented in the last ACC 2022. We have again data to convince us, even when we give PCSK9 inhibitors, of course, that the most wonderful drug which bring down the L dramatically lower. I'm not saying that that is the only answer. We have a combination of high-intensity statin, ezetimibe, maybe bempedoic acid will nearly equal the PCSK9. We have data to show that. So this was another data which used the IVUS NIRS, which again a measure of the lipid probability, because we know about the core lipid matter in the plaque. If it disappears, that makes the plaque much more stable and the vulnerability becomes lesser. Even though I know the plaque vulnerability is something which we don't know much about. So when we reduce the LDL substantially, there is a change in the percentage atheroma volume. And it's with the NIRS again shows us the quality of the plaque, the morphology of the plaque considerably changes with the, of course, this has been, the Pacman was an ACS trial, and the architect was a study with no coronary event, with familiar hypercholesteremia, no previous atherosclerosis, near similar data showing that we have evidences of plaque regression. The plaque regression, if you look at the volume-wise, people started asking questions, is 1% clinically meaningful? It definitely is meaningful. You could see that this tremendous increase in the coronary event, MACE rates with increasing plaque. So what is the next in plaque? in lipid lowering? We have an exciting area ahead. We have very many molecules in the anvil. So it looks very interesting for us cardiologists and physicians to look at the future and predict that plaque regression is a possibility with an increasing decrement in the LDL level. So, ladies and gentlemen, incremental coronary plaque regression, lipid core reduction, and plaque stabilization happens. It starts and it goes on continuing with increasing further reduction of the LDL values. And newer imaging modalities and all these analyses that I have shown you will definitely should prompt us for an early initiation of very intensive lipid lowering. Whether you use PCSK9 is another matter. Thank you for your kind attention.